You are listening to Let's Talk Trio on podcasts. Keep up with the latest episodes by downloading the Podbean app or stream episodes via our social media accounts. Search for Let's Talk Trio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This episode is sponsored by StudentAccess. StudentAccess, the leader in Trio software. StudentAccess is an online database solution that allows Trio programs to track their students' information, connect with students by text messages, streamline the APR, and work from anywhere, all online, with automatic updates for changes from the Department of Education. Their technical support team includes former Trio staff and has over 50 years of combined experience working with Trio. Make it easier to focus on your priority, the students. For more information and to request a free demo, visit their website at www.studentaccess.com or call them toll-free at 1-800-801-1232. That website again is www.studentaccess.com or 1-800-801-1232. Be sure to share your favorite episodes on your social media by tapping that share button. This is a great way to support the podcast. Now here's your host, Juan Rivas.
Thank you, Amelia, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, listener, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Trio. This is Season 6, Episode 23. I am your host, Juan Rivas. In today's episode, we have Cove Johnson, Trio Upward Bound participant and alum of the Talent Search program from the University of North Dakota. Cove is on the podcast to share her Trio journey. So coming up in just a bit, Cove Johnson. A heartfelt thanks to our individual supporters, Angelica Vialpando, Rosario Riley, Dr. Ryan Barone, Dr. Jamie Motley, Dr. Jeff Nepute, Angelica Valdez, Felicia Rivera, Eric LaMaster, Jeff Kahlden, and Jaded Electronics. A huge thanks to our corporate sponsors, TrioJoblist.com, NOSOTROS Education Center, TheTrioStore.com, powered by Proforma. Visit www.thetriostore.com, your source for Trio graduation stoles. And StudentAccess. Thank you all so much for your continued support of this podcast. You too can be a sponsor of the podcast. Head on over to Patreon and search for Let's Talk Trio. Choose one of 4 patron levels. You can support this podcast for as little as $1 a month. If you own a business and would like to run an ad on our podcast, send us an email at letstalktrio@gmail.com for details. Become a supporter with a one-time donation to the podcast business PayPal account. Our handle is @LetsTalkTrio. Your support helps lift Trio voices. If you would like to nominate a participant, staff, or alumni to be on the podcast, send us an email at letstalktrio@gmail.com. That email again is letstalktrio@gmail.com. Again, a great episode featuring Cove Johnson, Trio Upward Bound participant and alum of Trio Talent Search from the University of North Dakota. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode.
Hi, Trio Nation. My guest on the Let's Talk Trio podcast is a current participant of the Trio Upward Bound program at the University of North Dakota. She had also transitioned from the Talent Search program as well. My guest enjoys reading, writing, instruments, and arts. Welcome to the podcast, Cove Johnson. Cove, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So how are you doing?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing well. You know, Colorado is still, we're unseasonably warm still in Colorado. We get our cold nights, but it's still very much warm during the day. What about in North Dakota?
It's actually surprisingly really nice out today. It was like storming like on Wednesday, so that is like a really big change from how it was. But it is actually really nice today.
Awesome. So right now we're recording this episode in kind of the middle of December, not middle, right at the beginning of December. How are your classes going?
They are going really great. I'm doing really well actually in some of the classes. I think I've really gotten better since like the beginning of the year, just like my grades have improved so much, and I am very happy with how I'm doing right now.
Right on. What classes are you taking?
I'm taking physical science, geometry, I'm taking a creative online writing class, and then I have English 10, US history, and then I'm taking sculpture.
Wow. Are you liking that online writing class?
Yeah, it is really fun. It's a fun class.
Awesome, awesome. Like I said, we're recording this episode in December. You have a few more weeks of school left, I imagine. Are you looking forward to Christmas break slash holiday break?
For sure. I
Yeah.
am very excited to get a whole week break off of school. I've been really looking forward to it.
What are your plans?
Um, I think just I think I'm traveling to Medina in North Dakota.
Hmm.
So we're probably gonna go down there for a little bit and celebrate Christmas.
Oh,
And
that's
then
awesome.
I have no idea what other plans I have. Probably study for my semester finals.
Yeah,
And I don't know, probably hang out with a few friends and do some gift exchanges.
that sounds like a really good plan. I like that. Can you talk to me about the hobbies and interests that you have? So reading, writing, instruments, you say. So I want to get more specific. What do you mean by instruments?
Really just like playing and like I guess learning more about instruments.
Hmm.
'Cause I do really like playing and I do really want to learn more instruments. So that's like just a thing that I've been really wanting to like do more of. 'Cause I
Yeah.
already know a few instruments, but I
Hmm.
want to just go and learn more than I do and like just the ones I really want to learn.
That's awesome. Can you talk to the audience about what's the instrument that you're most proficient in versus one that you're still in progress or still feels like you're learning about it?
So trumpet is definitely the one I'm most
Ooh,
proficient
trumpet.
in.
All
I've
right.
been playing since fifth grade, and so I was in middle school band from fifth grade, and then sixth grade, and then in junior high, and then
Hmm.
last year I was in band as a trumpet.
Hmm.
This year I'm not in band anymore, but I still play sometimes. Um, so that's probably trumpet is definitely the one I'm best at. And
Hmm.
one I'm like in the process I is bass guitar along with soon acoustic guitar because I just bought one. So I
Hmm.
need to get into playing that soon. But I'm very excited to learn more of the my bass guitar because that was the
Yeah.
first guitar I ever had. So that's like the one that I'm like I suck at it right now because I just started playing it,
Hmm.
but it is like the one that I really would like to learn.
But you're still, I mean, the idea of learning a bass guitar is like you know that you're starting at the very beginner level and that you'll work up to middle, intermediate, and then expert and proficiency. What you're gonna get this question inevitably, right? What bass lines can you play?
I can kind of play seven, like the beginning of Seven Nation Army, and then there
Ooh.
are a few other ones that I know that I just do not know the name of.
Hmm.
But I did. There is like just like there are 5 second lines that I know
Hmm.
how to play on the guitar,
Hmm.
and that is it right now. Like,
Hey, we all got to start somewhere.
yeah.
What inspired you or what influenced you to pick up the bass guitar and learn guitar, acoustic guitar as well?
I remember, um, I used to be really into the drums.
Hmm.
And there's a few, I used to play Guitar Hero,
Oh yeah,
that
I
video
remember.
game all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the drum set, but I had the guitar. So I
Hmm.
really enjoyed playing it on the guitar. And then after I like realized that I wasn't a drum person like I thought I was,
Hmm.
um, and I really preferred guitar because of Guitar Hero. I wanted to learn guitar, so I
Hmm.
asked my parents if I could have one, and I wanted an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar, but I ended up getting a bass guitar. And after that, I did like more research and I really liked just playing it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, like Guitar Hero just really inspired um that love for playing guitar.
I love that. That is awesome. So you also like to do writing, reading, and art. What of those three do you enjoy the most? And I'll ask more specific questions about like, what do you enjoy reading?
Well, reading is for sure the one I enjoy most. And
Hmm.
to answer what I enjoy reading, I'm definitely like a fantasy kind of person,
Hmm.
or but right now I've been really into like Greek mythology and those myths.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I just recently finished the book The Song of Achilles and Psyche and Eros. So those were really good. And then at the moment I am reading the Iliad and Odyssey.
Oh, that is impressive. I think even in college courses, they dedicate entire courses just to learn about that one book. But you're picking it up and just kind of do it for leisure reading. That's amazing. Um, so for and art, where did that come from? Your fascination with art?
Um, I used to be friends with someone who like for like a young person, like in like fifth grade probably, she was like really good at art and it kind of like inspired me to like I was like I really want to have this like skill of being good and doing it.
Hmm.
So I picked it up and it it started off slow, obviously, like I wasn't that into it, but the more I hung out with her, the more like I was dedicated to start doing art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then when I got into high school, I realized that I could take sculpture and I really enjoyed like clay and stuff and I thought it'd be really cool to be able to work with it and
Hmm.
make like bowls and stuff. So this year I decided that I was going to take it and that really like pushed my love for art and like my want to learn and do more of it.
Absolutely. So it sounds like it started from like drawing to evolving into clay. And you've really, that's part of the art that you really like is being able to mold and shape.
Yeah,
That's
for
awesome.
sure.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Are you seeking guidance to enhance your TRIO project's effectiveness and success? Look no further. Nosotros Education Center, NEC, is here to empower your TRIO project with expert consulting services. NEC's mission is to promote the effectiveness and impact of TRIO programs. Since 2003, NEC has specialized in providing professional development and in-service staff trainings, allowable cost services, for TRIO projects across the country. The team at NEC, with over 60 years of combined TRIO experience, offers customized workshops and seminars for project staff, compliance assessments, external evaluations, working on and submitting APRs, database customization and training, development of policies and procedures manuals, and project implementation or reorganization services. Additionally, NEC has secured over $774 million in federal funding with a 92% success rate through their live and on-demand proposal workshops, assistance with data collection and review, detailed technical reviews, and comprehensive proposal development services. Join the hundreds of colleges, agencies, and TRIO projects across the country who benefited from NEC's expertise. Nosotros Education Center, your partner in TRIO's project success. Visit their website at nosotros.edu.org. Again, that's nosotrosedu.org.
And now, back to the podcast.
Can you talk about you and your family? What is your family dynamic like?
Okay, so I have a brother and a sister. And then I think our for like siblings, I feel like a bunch of people don't have like that good of a relationship with them when you're like younger and you're not
Hmm.
like adults or anything. But I think considering the fact that there's three of us, I think we definitely do have a pretty good relationship when it comes to most things.
Mhm.
Um, so our sibling relationship is like really good. And then I'm definitely like my with my parents, I actually get along with them really well. I'm able to tell them pretty much anything, which is really nice. So it's like very good dynamic and I love it, honestly.
Oh, that's wonderful. Where do you fall in your birth order? Are you the oldest or the youngest?
I'm in the middle.
You're the middle. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. How would your family describe you?
I would say probably funny, smart, outgoing for sure, talented, helpful probably, and
Yeah,
um, maybe I think focused, they would probably describe me as.
right on. You said you were involved in band. You're no longer involved in band anymore. Do you have any other extracurriculars activities that you're currently involved in?
Yeah, I'm in speech. It hasn't quite started yet, but it will be starting
Hmm.
after Christmas break. And then same with the play. So that should be starting either this month before Christmas break or right after.
Hmm.
And then in the fall, I was just in the musical. So
Oh, nice.
I was in Bye Bye Birdie for that musical, which is what
Hmm.
my school did this year. And then last year, I was also in the play musical. So I've been in it for a couple of years, along with speech. I've been in speech since seventh grade.
Wow. In speech, what specifically do you do there?
I do inform and extempt, and then sometimes for the past like 3 years, I've been doing like humorous duos, well, and or duos overall. So
Uh-huh.
I did a humorous duo my first year and second year, and then last year I did a serious duo, and this year I'm finding someone to do another duo with because I mean duos just make it all the more fun.
Yeah. In the musicals that you're involved with, what role do you like to play, or what role do you usually gravitate toward?
Definitely like a funny character with just speaking roles because I'm definitely not a singer. I just enjoy acting a lot. So I'm in it for the acting. So I usually try and go in and audition for like just funny roles that are able to make the audience laugh.
Hmm. When did you learn about, or how did you learn about the Trio Upward Bound program?
Um, Upward Bound, I remember I learned about it from my sister because I think she was in it for about a year maybe.
Hmm.
And I remember hearing a lot about like her talking about it, and I thought it was super cool and something that I really wanted to do because I was already in the talent search program
Hmm.
at that time. So I already knew about Trio, but the fact that I could continue it in high school and not just be in it during middle school made me like way more like really I want to do this. It was just like and since my sister did it, it just like I was kind of like I wanted to follow in her footsteps and do it as well.
Right on. So you were also in Talent Search first. What did you enjoy about the Talent Search program, and what did it teach you?
Definitely just the ability to learn like about college and that how like being able to explore different like majors or degrees and overall college campuses at a
Hmm.
younger age and like it really got me like more thinking about what I wanted to do in the future, which really helped.
Right on. Joining Upward Bound, was it something that you were really excited to join, or were you kind of like trying to figure it out from the outside before you joined into the program?
I was definitely like super excited to join. Because as I said, my sister did it, so I really wanted to do it as well. But I also think that I was excited, mainly because the summer program,
Uh-huh.
and getting so we would be there for 6 weeks, and the first week, for the summer program in Upward Bound, they would put us into groups.
Hmm.
Um, And then for 6 weeks, or for 5 weeks, we would stay at UND and
Hmm.
take classes depending on what grade we were going into the next year. And then the sixth week would be a week-long trip to somewhere else in the United States. So last year we went to Minneapolis or the
Wow.
Twin Cities. So
Uh-huh.
that was cool. And I really liked it. So when I heard about that happening, I just was really excited to go and be able to learn more about these classes that I would be taking the next year and see what those would be like,
Yeah.
along with being able to go to like a place pretty far away without
Hmm.
my family and like just with my friends.
Absolutely. I think Upward Bound has that kind of staple for a lot of the programs across the United States, but for you, it was really being able to leave the state and go to a different state. What was that experience like? What did you enjoy most about that trip?
Definitely. I mean, just being able to hang out more with the friends I made in
Hmm.
the program, because obviously I wouldn't be able to like just hang out with them on a normal basis because some of them live like really far away from my town and I couldn't drive out there. So just being able to spend a week with them and like hang out as if like we weren't like in school or something was just really
Hmm.
fun to do, like overall just
I like that. Um, can you talk to me about the most interesting thing you've learned being in the Upward Bound program?
um oh, I would definitely, I think, to be honest, just Upward Bound has really helped me be more of myself and like I guess be more confident in like what I say or talk
Hmm.
about and do and not be so into myself that I can't just like not talk to a single person and like someone else has to talk to me first.
Hmm.
So it definitely helped me like be more out there and be able to talk to people. Um, just with like just go up to someone and say, "Hey, how are you?" or "Hey, I really like your hair" or something, and just like
Hmm.
be able to do that without fear of them like judging me.
Yeah. I think Upward Bound really helps with those socializing skills, especially if it puts you in a group of peers that are in similar background that you are in, right? Um, when you you said that it gave you a lot of confidence being an Upward Bound. How would you describe yourself before being in the Upward Bound program? Or even I would take it back further and say before Talent Search.
Um, I feel like before talent search, I was only ever confident like around my family because they were my family. But when I went out and talked to somebody else, I felt like really nervous and scared to talk to them. So I was definitely like shy and very into myself and just not confident at all in like anything.
Mhm.
Um,
And then when you joined the program, you felt like your confidence and being able to ask questions or to even socialize, you felt that that started growing?
Yeah, for sure. It's like it was like a whole flip around, like my personality from before Upward Bound almost completely flipped to how it is now.
Would you say that teachers, friends, people that knew you, did they notice a change?
For sure, for sure. Uh, I feel like before, I never like actually talked to my teachers. I was just like I went to class, I did my homework, I turned it in, and I just didn't talk at all except to like
Hmm.
my friends. And then after I got into Upward Bound, I started talking to my teachers and like laughing with them and like doing more than just going to class and doing what I was told, but I would like do like go to class, do what I was told, and be able to like talk to my teachers and ask questions
Yeah.
without the nervousness.
I feel like you and I share a lot of similarities because I was very much an introverted, shy student in high school before Upward Bound picked me up. And it felt like after I joined Upward Bound, teachers noticed the difference of like I was a little bit more academically driven, I was talking more. a little bit more confidence. So I feel like, again, you and I share kind of that similarity. So talk to us about your trio upward bound origin story, because this is where it gets interesting. Did a counselor recommend you, or did the trio upward bound seek you out first?
Um, I guess so in the seventh grade, Talent Search also does this like summer program, but it's only a week long. So before I was going into eighth grade, I went on it, and we were staying at UND for the first 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew Phil already, and I had already talked to him, and he
Mm-hmm.
told me and one of my other friends that as soon as we got into high school, he was gonna scout us out and find us.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
So ever since then, I was like really looking forward to doing it. And I knew that like we knew each other, so I knew that eventually he would probably come and find me. But it wasn't until the second semester of my freshman year that like Dawn had asked if I and one of my other friends had wanted to join Upward
Mm-hmm.
Bound. And then she gave us the like forms to fill it out, and then
Wow.
we ended up joining.
Wow. Well, what did your family say, or how did they react to that, to you wanting to be in the upward bound program, transitioning from Talent Search?
I think like they figured I would want to, because like I would always like go home and talk about how like I liked trio or what we did and how it was like super fun. So they figured I would want to go and join, so they weren't surprised when I came home with a form that I needed to fill out to join it.
Mm-hmm. So one question that I have for you kind of is related on the list of colleges, right? But I'm going to ask you this question before I ask that one is for a lot of students, especially in being a sophomore, they are thinking about college, or they have right ideas of going to college. For you, now being in the upward bound program, do you have like a list of colleges that you want to attend? And how early did you start thinking about that list of colleges?
Um, so obviously in talent I do have a list, and I started thinking about it in Talent Search, but like I didn't really like the list kind of grew as I went on, or like I
Oh, right on.
suggested, because
Yeah.
we're in colleges. But my list is for like UND is at the top for sure. It's
Yeah, we
probably
were talking pre-show that UND is your number one choice. Why?
uh
So very quickly, why is UND your very top choice school?
Mainly because so I've toured it so many times being
Hmm.
in Talent Search and Upward Bound, so I know the campus pretty well. Um, and but it's also because I've toured, so I want to go into forensic science, and
Hmm.
UND is like one of the only colleges in like pretty much actually really the entire United States that has a forensic science program, and I toured it, and I really like the way it's structured and what they do there.
Hmm.
So it being like the only college with a forensic science program adds into it, but I also do really like the campus, and it definitely is something that I could get used to like walking through like on a day-to-day basis when I am in college.
Awesome. What other colleges have made your list?
MSUM, so Minnesota, I think it's Minnesota University of Moorhead.
Mm.
And then Northern State University in Aberdeen, South Dakota. And
Hmm.
then NDSU is kind of on there because I do also really like their college.
Right on. And so UND being number one, the others you're saying you're giving careful consideration, right?
Yeah.
Um, so of those colleges, UND being your number one, being literally the number one pick, what are you doing now to prepare to enter UND?
Um, really just like kind of, I guess I've made like a pros and cons list for it, like what I would like. Or what I like about the college and what I don't like about the college, and
Hmm.
there's definitely more pros than cons
Oh, good.
I realize for it. So like just like planning that out, and then overall looking at their forensic science program more closely, and like looking at that how like what graduating with that degree would look like for me.
Mhm.
So looking more closely at that, and right now, like, and also looking into like what UND like says that I should take in high school to prepare for going into that major.
Mhm.
So I've been like planning my high school schedule to include those classes that they said I should take into it.
So we know that you want to study forensic science. What led you to that field, or what was the thing that drew you most about forensic science? What is it about it that's fascinating?
Um, I think like I've always been interested in crime, I guess you could say, and it's like a thing that kind of makes me like happy to be able to like if I were able to sit there and say that I helped solve this crime is
Hmm.
something that I would really like to do and like be able to say that I helped solve this case. But I was first led to it when I toured the UND forensics program. And like being like looking at that and like we learned a little bit about what forensic science is while we were touring it. And I thought it was really cool. So I got home that day after touring it and I did more research and it was something that like I just couldn't get out of my mind since I
Mm.
toured it.
Hmm.
And eventually the more research I did, the more interested I became and like the more I wanted to do it, especially with what I could do after and like what jobs I could get with that degree.
It sounds like your mind is built then to solve puzzles or to like really figure out if you're talking about solving a crime scene, because that's a very complex and very tough thing to do. Were there things that kind of prepared you mentally to say, I want to make the leap into forensic science?
Kinda, but I don't know. It's just kind of like it was just always just in my, it just feels right, I
It just
guess
feels
you could
right. Okay,
say.
very cool. What is something that Trio Upward Bound has taught you?
Um, Yeah, once again, how to be more like confident in myself, but I guess also how like just learning more about classes, I think
Hmm.
is another big thing with the forensics or not with the forensic science with the summer program. I learned a lot more about like the classes I would be taking this year and sophomore year with that summer program,
Hmm.
which really helped me. And it taught me better studying skills as well, along with how to like prepare better, which is definitely the reason why I have good grades in school at the moment
I like that.
because of what those classes and the summer program taught me.
In your experience with the Trio Upward Bound program, it sounds like taking some of the classes that they offer also prepared you for the future classes that you're taking. Can you point to one or two classes that you felt like were really beneficial to you?
Definitely the geometry class I took,
Hmm.
it definitely taught me a lot. Like it just like when I did it last year or over the summer, I didn't really understand it. But as soon as I got into school and we learned the same thing as we did there, it just like clicked and I knew exactly how to do it and I didn't have to relearn it, which really helped. And then I also probably our biology class, because it just kind of helped like me remember the stuff of what we were doing. Because I took biology in ninth grade, where most schools take it in 10th grade, which is why I took biology because they didn't have a physical science. But like that summer program biology class really helped me remember the stuff of like what I might need to know.
Mhm.
So it definitely helped me just like remember and like know what I'm talking about when it comes to that.
Awesome. What is something that you learned about yourself this past year?
Definitely, I can be really talkative when I'm with people. Um, like I feel like the more I talked with people and the more and stuff, I like just like if someone let me talk, I could just like talk for like a long time
Mhm.
if it's something I like. And it's just it just like it helped me realize just like confidence wise, just like you bring up something that I like and ask me my opinion, I could talk probably for hours about it.
What are your topics? What are the things that you can talk for hours about?
Definitely the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, TMNT.
That
Okay.
show.
I love
Yeah, I
that.
definitely really like all of them. Like every single iteration and show that's ever been made for that. I could
Wow.
talk for hours about it. And for sure, I would say Greek mythology is also up there because I'm just like really interested in the myths and stuff. I think they're really interesting.
Mhm.
Um, and like it's just something that I could talk about and like even share my opinions. Like I could share an entire story and share what I think about it.
Yeah,
It's just very like interesting to me. I just love it.
absolutely. So I got to go back and ask because I have a favorite turtle. I won't reveal who it is until I get your opinion. Your favorite turtle from the TMNT group, who would it be?
For sure Donatello.
No way. It's Donatello. I'm a huge fan of Donatello. Love
Oh
Donatello.
my, he is absolutely the best. Just
Which iteration of Donatello is the best?
um I
Sorry, now I'm
feel
going to put you in a tough
I
corner,
know.
tough spot. Sorry.
I feel like I really like all of them. I really like the voice actor for the 2012 Donatello, who also played Raph in, I think, 1987, the 1987
Oh, you
version.
know your turtles. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. He really like portrays the character really well, like his voice actor, and he makes him like really funny.
Hmm.
So I definitely love that iteration, but I also really like overall the 1987 Turtles. I think that show is just like really good.
Hmm. I think the 1980s Turtles, I grew up on the 1980 Turtles,
Mhm.
and they're just unhinged, and
Yeah.
funny and chaotic. But my son grew up on the 2000s Ninja Turtles, so he
Yeah.
likes that version. And I'm like, they're pretty cool. They're nice
Oh.
anime kind of style, I guess. Um, but okay, so that important turtle question needed to be asked. What about in mythology? What aspect of mythology, Greek mythology, do you really like dive into, or you could speak hours on?
I overall just like the myths. I think just the like what they like the myths portray and like tell about the figures in Greek mythology, I think are really interesting. But I'm more like interested in like how some of it came to be. Like
Hmm.
specifically with like the relationships in Greek mythology, I think is like really interesting
Hmm.
and like how tragic some of them are. Like
Oh, truly.
I think it's like just really interesting how like tragic some of these myths are that are able to get me like feeling stuff for these like couples. It's just like really interesting to me and I just love it.
Absolutely. It is really fascinating too, right?
Mhm.
I feel like we're about to do a TMNT slash Greek mythology spin-off of this podcast because we could talk literally hours on this. I'm a history major, so I'm also like interesting to hear what you want to say about that. Very cool. Thank you, Cove. Again, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about that. So let's talk about goals. What are some goals that you have set for yourself for this coming year and 5 years from now? So short term and long term.
Um, I guess like for short term, definitely pass the semester.
Pass the semester. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely like pass my classes. And it's more not just like pass my classes, like get a D and like that's passing.
Uh-huh.
Like get like B's and C or not B's and C's, B's and A's and like keep going with that because I do have those right now. So I want to keep that going. And then and also getting a good role in the play this
Good
spring.
role.
So that's like definitely something that I want to do. I want to get like a good role that isn't like a side character, but like a main person.
One of the main characters. Okay.
Yeah. So that's definitely one. And then also, I guess this could be considered medium term and short term, but get state and speech for one of my categories. That would be pretty cool. That's been something that like I've been wanting to do, so hopefully this year I can go and hit that goal and be able to go and do that.
That's awesome. And long term, what do you hope to do? Say you're graduated, you're going to UND. What are your goals then?
For sure, when I get to college, I think one of my goals for that is to study abroad. In a different country. That's something I think would be really cool to do. And then I guess I think that's like the one thing I know for sure that I want to do long term. Other than that, hopefully graduate college.
Oh,
After I do
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Um, and get a job that like I enjoy, that like pays well, that has good people there that I can enjoy being around.
Yeah.
So just overall a good job. And then hopefully, this is at really long term, not even like 5 years, but like save enough money where I can travel around the world and go like everywhere. Because there are so many places I want to go, and just it'd be so cool to be able to go and do that
Absolutely.
someday.
So I'm going to go back to your answer with being able to study abroad. Where do you want to study abroad?
I feel like I haven't given that a lot of thought. I think just overall studying in another country would be cool.
Okay.
But I guess if I could go anywhere in the world, I would 100% want to go to like Greece.
Oh, okay. I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Um, so and when a part of your goal is also to save up enough money and do a lot of traveling. Sounds like that traveling is really in your heart. What are your top three destinations besides
Um,
Greece?
well, I think Greece is the number one, but for two, three, and four, probably like France, I think
France,
would
okay.
be really cool. Italy, and I would say like Japan. Um, because that's something I used to want to go to Japan so badly when I was younger. And just I see a lot of like videos and TikToks about Japan and what you can do there. And I'm like, I'm like, well, that would be like a really cool place to live. And I would love to like experience how that would like fit into my everyday life, just being able to go down there.
Absolutely. I think when we're younger, we develop like kind of an obsession with a country. Mine was Australia. I was obsessed with like I want to visit. I still do. Like I'm grown up now. I'm like when I have enough money, I'm gonna go visit Australia. So totally makes sense. What advice do you have for trio participants, whether they're talent search, upward bound, student support services, McNair, that are thinking about either going to college or returning to college? What advice would you have for them?
I mean, well, I'm definitely not a college student, so I couldn't say exactly. But if I had to give any piece of information, is just to do it, to try it. Like if you want to go to college, I think the one thing that you should do is go to try it, even if you don't know what you want to study, because there are so many things, and like there are people that help you figure out what you want to study. And I think that college, like even as a high school student, I think now that college is super worth it, and it'll just help you so much in the long run. So like even if you think college isn't like something for you, it's just you should try it anyways and see how college really is, so you can figure out for sure like if this is something you want to do for the next couple years, or if you just don't want to do it at all.
Very good advice. What about if you had all the trio professionals that work across the nation in one room, what would you say to them?
Probably thank you for making these, like, having these programs available to students, especially high school students and middle school, because without Trio, I have no idea where I would be. I would definitely not be as confident in myself. I would probably not be on this podcast, not only because, or any podcast at all, because I would not be confident enough to like sit there and like know that I would be going online for this. So definitely like thank you for making this available to me and all the other students like across the America and the like entire nation. Just like a big thank you to everyone.
And it is an absolute honor to have you on this podcast to talk about your Trio experience, because I think people need to hear from students directly about how much Trio makes an impact on them. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. What is something that you're reading, watching, or listening to, whether it's music, books, podcasts, TV shows, or movies?
So obviously, I'm reading the Iliad and Odyssey. I'm on the Iliad right now. I've like I stopped reading it for a while for school assignments and stuff, but I'm
Mhm.
back into reading it. So I'm like reading that at the moment. Watching, obviously I'm watching some different iterations of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm also like some new movies, I guess. I've been watching like more of the Sonic shows as well, like
Oh,
Sonic
yeah.
X and like some of those. And I mean, I feel like just you could like I feel like you could ask me like any like younger kid to teenage cartoon and I could probably tell you that I've watched it or I am watching it.
Hmm.
So just like I've pretty much any kid cartoon is something that I'm watching or have watched right now at the moment. And I mean, I did recently finish a video game. It's like a South Park game. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, South Park came out with a game a few years ago, no?
Yeah. I think they have three games right now, and they have one where it's like a sort of like wizard-like thing, which I haven't played
Oh,
that one
yeah.
yet. But
Uh-huh.
they have a superhero one, which I just recently like
I
completed. Like
Yeah.
not fully, there's some stuff, there's missions and stuff I gotta do, but I technically completed the storyline.
Okay.
Um, and then I'm also playing Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted 2 at the moment.
Oh, oh.
So I've been like trying to complete that as best as I can. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't do that well with horror, so I have no idea why I
You and
bought
me
the
both.
game. But yeah, I am playing that at the moment right now. So
We're going to be a temporary retro video game podcast. So I played Resident Evil when it first came out in the late 90s. And, back then we thought those graphics were real, and the jump scares that they would have, like it would scare us. But the VR game that I saw my son plays, Five Nights at Freddy's, but not the VR one. He really wants to play that one. Yeah, no, I stay away from Five Nights at Freddy's. I cannot handle the jump scares, especially at my age now.
yeah, I mean, if it's like I can play like the games on the computer, but playing it on the VR is like it feels like you're actually there,
Oh
which makes it
gosh.
like 10 times scarier. And I cannot handle jump scares, so I do not know why I purchased the game. But I'm like, I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna like go through all these jump scares and we're gonna see how this goes.
Yeah, yeah. Cove, what is one word you would use to describe yourself?
Um, ooh, I want to say now, probably I would say outgoing maybe.
Outgoing. I like that. Very cool. Cove, thank you once again for being on this podcast. Wish you all the best with everything that you've got going on, especially in your trio journey. Best of luck in college. Best of luck in everything. I know you've got still a couple of years left, but you're on to great and greater things. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, Cove, we have a tradition on the Let's Talk Trio podcast where we have the guests sign off. Do you care to do the honors?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Cove Johnson, and I'm a participant of the Trio Upward Bound program at the University of North Dakota Trio Works.
Are you a participant, alum, or staff of a Trio program? Do you want your program highlighted? You or your program could be featured in an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Trio. Get a hold of us by going to our Facebook page or Instagram and send us a direct message. Search for Let's Talk Trio. We want to get your story to the public.
That was our guest, Cove Johnson, Trio Upward Bound participant and alum of the Trio Talent Search program from the University of North Dakota. Cove, thank you so much for being on the podcast and for sharing your Trio story. Remember, if you would like to be on the Let's Talk Trio podcast or know a staff, advocate, participant, or alumni, send us an email at letstalktrio@gmail.com. That email again is letstalktrio@gmail.com. A heartfelt thanks to our individual supporters, Angelica Vialpando, Dr. Jamie Motley, Dr. Ryan Barone, Dr. Jeff Nepute, Angelica Valdez, Rosario Riley, Felicia Rivera, Eric LaMaster, Jeff Kahlden, and Jaded Electronics. A huge thanks to our corporate sponsors, TrioJoblist.com, NOSOTROS Education Center, The Trio Store, powered by Proforma. Visit www.thetriostore.com, your source for Trio graduation stoles. And StudentAccess. Thank you all so much for your continued support of this podcast. You too can sponsor the Let's Talk Trio podcast in one of three ways. Become a monthly patron on Patreon. Our base level starts at $1 a month. Become a corporate sponsor by placing an ad on the podcast. Contact us for details. Become a supporter with a one-time donation to the podcast PayPal account. Our handle is @Let'sTalkTrio. I'd like to take a moment to thank our honorary members of the Let's Talk Trio podcast, Roderick Chambers, Tony Ho, Scott Kendall, and Susan Cramp. The Let's Talk Trio podcast team is John Russell, audio engineer, music producer and composer, and post-production editor. Amelia Castaneda, script supervisor, marketing manager, social media manager, and producer. Juan Rivas, executive producer and host. Be sure to follow Let's Talk Trio podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This episode was recorded Monday, December 7th, 2024. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.